Welcome to Smithville Chamber Chatter, coming to you from historic Smithville, Texas. We're here to talk about all things Smithville, including upcoming events, updates and tips for and about local businesses, important news, election updates, and more. Brought to you by the Smithville Area Chamber of Commerce, I'm your host, April Daniels. Welcome to our podcast. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Smithville Chamber Chatter podcast with your host, April Daniels. We are excited to be continuing our podcast series today, sponsored by the Smithville Area Chamber of Commerce, and today's sponsor, Aqua Water. Our guest today is Derek Kahanek, representing the STX Golf Cart Club. Good afternoon, Derek, and thank you for being our guest on the Smithville Chamber Chatter podcast.
Well, thank you, April, for having me on. And I don't think I would be remiss if I didn't say May the 4th be with you.
Thank you, Derek.
No, I purposely chose the 4th just for that reason.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And so for our listeners and our viewers today that will actually be listening to this podcast on a different day, we recorded this on May the 4th.
There we go. Yeah.
May the 4th.
Cat's out of the
bag. So, Derek, I know our viewers and our listeners are very interested in the STX Golf Cart Club. I, for one, am very excited to have just purchased a golf cart so I can participate in the next big event.
Congratulations. Yeah.
So tell us about the STX Golf Cart Club and what you do for the community and your mission here in Smithville.
We were founded in early 2019. Myself, Chase Dupuis, and John Bencomo, we went over a couple drinks at Coach Q's, but prior to being Blazer, it was Coach Q's. And it all kind of started as a joke. We didn't think anything of it. I think Chase kind of came up with the idea to, we're very fortunate in Smithville to be able to drive around town in golf carts. And Chase and John have been a part of poker runs at the coast and stuff like that. And it was really Chase that kind of spearheaded and said, I think this could maybe do something, we can do something similar in Smithville. And so, we talked to our wives about it. So with the support of them, we reached out to several businesses across town. We threw a post on Facebook with a minimal graphics, just trying to see if we could get any interest in it. And we hit the ground running. And I think our first event, we had about 35 carts, about 40 to 50 people. And we were just blown away at who all showed up. And we had people from ages, 3 to 60. I mean, we had so many people that showed up. And it was really interesting because we had the event. We felt like it was very successful. And it was the next day. I mean, it was either Sunday or Monday. We were getting phone calls. Like, when is the next event? We saw all these golf carts flying around town. What were y'all doing? And at that time, we really didn't have a plan. The plan was just, let's just cruise around town. Let's see how it goes. And it's just, we knew we were on the brink of something very special. We didn't know what that was, but we knew that after the first one, I think we all felt a small obligation, not only to ourselves, but to the Smithville community to take this platform and do something with it. And so we've been at it, like I said, since early 2019. And our mission overall is to make a substantial impact in the Smithville community, whether that be for community members, whether it be for nonprofit organizations. Obviously, we want to benefit local businesses. Those are probably the biggest thing driving us right now is our local businesses. I think one of the most unique things about Smithville, when you go into a business, I mean, you're meeting the owner. You're not typically meeting. I mean, everyone hires employees, which is really cool. I mean, I went to Smithville High School and I worked at Berkshire Brothers and we did all these things. But when you do our events and you go in there to participate, 9 times out of 10, it's a business owner that's taken a risk. I mean, especially during COVID, but overall, they've taken a risk to realize the American dream of owning their own business. And so, I grew up here. Chase and John both grew up here when Smithville was a ghost town. And I think our ultimate goal, in addition to helping nonprofit organizations bring some awareness to them, let people know, how they can volunteer and donate. I think ultimately we want to see Smithville continue to grow. I think we're not afraid of it. We encourage it, and so that's probably the most exciting part about it is seeing. I love seeing not only all the carts but all the people and cars downtown. It makes us realize we chose the right place to not only to live but to raise our families. And we're excited about the future. And I think the other big thing too is just the city's support of what we're doing. I mean, the chamber obviously championed getting Smithville as a golf, or getting Smithville designated as a golf cart friendly community, which was huge, and we appreciate that. The Smithville Police Department has been unbelievably supportive of what we're doing, and they've helped us with that effort. And so, yeah, I think that's our ultimate goal, is to make the biggest impact we can in Smithville, and help it continue to grow.
Well, thank you, Derek. And I think that that's a good point for those of you that are listening and watching our podcast today. This is an example of a wonderful organization that started out as a grassroots organization, has grown to be such an important part of a great example of what it means to support your local businesses, to support your local causes, and for folks to come out and have a great time, but also to be doing have a wonderful cause in our community. Before I ask Derek our next question, I want to take just a moment as we talk about local support and thank the sponsor of today's podcast, which is Aqua Water Corporation. Aqua always supports Smithville, has been one of our biggest fans, and has always come through with sponsorships, and we really appreciate their support here in our community. Now, I know you talked a lot just a minute ago about supporting local businesses, and you also typically support a local nonprofit or cause through your events. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about some of the groups you have helped in the past?
You bet. I think our first event, we sponsored the Chamber of Commerce. You guys lost your building due to arson, which was unimaginable. And I think without question, John and I and Chase, we all fought after that first event. We should donate to the chamber. One, at that time, we weren't, like you said, we were a grassroots organization. We were trying to we didn't know what we were doing. But you guys supported us from day one, even though you probably weren't really sure what we were doing, but you jumped on board. And what better way to give back to the community than to help the chamber rebuild? I mean, you guys are what drives the businesses in Smithville, and so it all started there. And then we've done small fundraisers, big fundraisers. I mean, the one we did most recently was probably the biggest heartfelt thing we've ever done for Vivian Snow. That's to John considers her his niece, and John came to us in January and said, "Hey, I know we're going to do an event in March. I'd love to do it for Vivi if we can." And it was by far our biggest event monetarily, but it was definitely our biggest event. I mean, we had the most carts, the most people, the most businesses. I mean, we raised over $13,000, which people don't realize. We may never be able to pay for her medical bills, but it gets her to the doctor's office. It pays for parking, it pays for hotels. So, and we're dads, and it really hit close to home. One of the funnest ones we did was the Smithville Community Gardens. I mean, Judy Bergeron and I'm forgetting his name.
Jim Horton.
Yeah, they are so much fun, and they were so emotional in the beginning and in the end of that event, because we had them come out and talk. And it was just, it really puts it into perspective of how much it means to have that awareness, and how much it means to them, to what we're doing. I think most recently we also did we passed out Easter eggs for the Smithville Police Association. I dressed up as the Easter Bunny, and we had about 8 to 9 carts, and we just drove around, and it was tons of fun. And we even rode along. We had a couple people that just drove up or were walking their kids next to us in the community, and wanted to take pictures with the Easter Bunny and stuff. And so that was something that we just kind of did on a whim. I think something that we're doing this weekend that's really important is helping the Knights of Columbus and the Boy Scouts of America replace the flags at the cemetery. It's something that Mark Bunny and I spoke to at length about, what role we can play in that, and how we can help, and just how honored we are to even be asked. That's just we find that we continue to do things that hit really close to home, and it definitely drives us to do more. I mean, there's only so much time in the day, and it's all volunteer, which and so we try to do as much as we can. And then our big event that we have next is actually for the Angels Unaware ministry in Smithville. who provides nutritional meals for kids on the weekends. I mean, I think they're feeding over 250 Smithville ISD students. And we've talked to Samela Williams, and she could not be more excited. And so, yeah, I think what we try to do a big event every quarter. So you would say March, June, August, and October, weather pending. And then we try to sprinkle little events here and there, anything we can do to help in the community throughout the year. So it's definitely gotten a lot busier, which is a good thing. And I think we're trying to be more innovative as we go through the process. But it's definitely one of those things. We wish we had more time. We wish we had more time to do it. And then one thing we do that a lot of people may or may not realize is every month we feature a local nonprofit on our site. And the reason for that is because we can't hit them all, right? There's only so many months in a year. We can only do so many events. So we'll feature a nonprofit every month. You can go online, you can donate to that. And at the end of the month, we present that to the organization. We're getting a little better at marketing that side of things, but that's something that we decided to do at the beginning of this year to just try to reach more organizations because they all need our help, especially with COVID. They weren't able to have a lot of fundraisers, and so yeah, I think we continue to grow, continue to be innovative, and we're definitely excited about the future.
That's fantastic. That's really wonderful what you all are doing for the community. And by the way, it is such a fun event to come out and be a part of, and it always feels great for those of you that are listening and watching. It just couldn't be a more fun event to come out and do while at the same time doing good in the community. And actually, speaking of that, I know our listeners and viewers want to hear about your upcoming programs and priorities over the next year or so. So, what can we all look forward to from the STX Golf Cart Club? And how can our listeners, most importantly, contact you or find you online?
So, like I said, the things that we have upcoming in the near future are the distributing of the U.S. flags at Oak Hill Cemetery. We're doing that this weekend. We have our big event for the Angels Unaware Ministry on June 5th, and so those are our two scheduled events that we have on deck. But I would say over the next few years in the near future, what we're really trying to do is increase our brand. I think the one thing, we've partnered with Yukon Outfitters. We've partnered with Desert Fox Golf for foam caddies, tumblers, the Rack Clothing Company for hats and apparel. And the reason we do that is, one, it helps us fund these events. These events no event goes, is free. So, these things do cost money on the back end. And so they fund the events, but more importantly, we want to increase our digital footprint. I think, we're at a time right now when everything's on social media, everything is on the internet. And so what we would like to do is, if someone is out and they have a tumbler or they have a hat on, someone says, hey, what is the STX Golf Cart Club? You can encourage them to go to our site, and they can learn a lot there. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. But it's word of mouth advertising that works for us. We want people to feel the need to give back. Maybe they're not from Smithville, maybe they're from Bastrop. Chase's dad participated in the event. He's from Louisiana. Every dollar helps. Every little bit of every share helps. Every little bit of awareness helps. And so for us, it's just trying to increase our digital footprint overall, and bring people to Smithville. Let them see what Smithville's all about. Like I said, we're not against the growth. We're not against increasing our the awareness for these local organizations or anything like that. I mean, if you talk to them personally, if you talk to any one of these people that run these local nonprofits, I mean, they love any and all attention that they can get to their organization. And so yeah, the best way to get in touch with us is either through our website, which I can send to anybody who wants it. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram.
What is your website's name?
It's stxgolfcartclub.square.site. So
okay.
Yeah, and it's on our Facebook page. I think it's even on our Instagram page. But I encourage people to go there, check out. We have a donation section that has all the local nonprofits that we currently support, and feel free to donate to them at any time. I mean, anytime we get donations, we kind of put them in a basket, and then we present it to them. kind of at the end of the month. We try to do like a month of donations if we can, and then we'll present it to them at the end of the month. But our website is a good place to find out more about what we're doing and when we're doing it. I think we even put our events on there. But definitely follow us on Facebook, Instagram. We even maybe start. I kind of toyed with having like a TikTok page, just because we do a lot of videos. We're just trying to get a little bit better at that. Because that's where we're at. I mean, that's what everybody watches. That's what everybody sees. I think we did banners at one end of town and the other, and I didn't get any calls from the banners, but I got more calls from the Facebook page or Instagram. And so it's not that is lost, but you have to adapt. And
Absolutely. And I will, on behalf of the local nonprofits, the Smithville Area Chamber of Commerce is one of the oldest nonprofits in Smithville. The chamber will be celebrating their 100-year anniversary very soon. So on behalf of the more than 70 nonprofits that are part of our community, I want to thank you and your organization for what you're doing on behalf of the nonprofits who work so hard for the people of Smithville and for the surrounding community right around the city here in our part of the county. People work so hard to do good things in our community. And anything that you can do and organizations like you can do does nothing but good. And you just mentioned word of mouth. That's how nonprofits exist too. So I commend you and your organization and everyone that you work with for what you're doing for our community. And I want to just thank you for that.
And we really appreciate it. I know, and I like I said, I mentioned them in the beginning, but we wouldn't be where we are without Chase Dupuis and John Bencomo. I mean, the work that they put in these events that we host. I mean, a lot of people think it runs really smooth, but there's a lot of hard work that goes on the back end of that. And I couldn't do it without them. I mean, we couldn't do it without them. We couldn't do it without our wives that support us. It's a really good thing, and it's hard to not get emotional about it because of the support that we've had from the community. And we always say it. If they keep showing up, we'll keep doing it. Even if it's only 5 people, we'll make the best of it.
That's wonderful, Derek. And again, I want to thank you and all of your partners who work with you to make these wonderful events happen. So I want to also thank you, Derek Kahanek. I want to say your name again. Yes. With the STX Golf Cart Club, for appearing with us today for this episode of the Smithville Chamber Chatter podcast. Thank you, Derek.
Thank you very much.
We have new business owners, community spotlights, and event podcasts coming up all the time. So be sure and check back on our Smithville Area Chamber of Commerce website, our Facebook page. These podcasts can also be listened to on Spotify and iTunes, and our YouTube channel as well. So until we see you next time, we'll see you in Smithville, a big small town experience. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for listening to Smithville Chamber Chatter with your host, April Daniels. If you'd like to be a guest, email us at april.daniels@smithvilletx.org. Between now and our next episode, be sure to check out the Chamber's website at www.smithvilletx.org. Until then, we'll see you on Main Street.